I'm sorry. I can't hold it in anymore. I feel like when we've been talking about the offseason, looking into the most improved teams, we talk about like the same 4 teams that spent so much money when it comes to free agency. I mean, you look at the Mets. What do? They went out there, they traded for Freddie Peralta. They look improved, right? Because they they invested all this money because they also got Bull Bichette. Remember that, right? Or you look at the Cubs, they got Alex Bregman. Or what if you look at the Dodgers? They got Kyle Tucker. They got Edwin Diaz. What about the Blue Jays? They got Dylan Cease. So, like, you look at all these teams that, like, have spent money and improved this offseason, which rightfully so, they look great, right? They improved. The Dodgers, in quotation, improved. I mean, I don't really think they needed some of these players because they're already extremely powerful. But, you know what I'm trying to say. But one team that I feel like nobody talks about, and I mean nobody, would have to be the Cincinnati Reds. Let's talk about it. Hold on. Before we move on to the video, if you guys could do me a huge favor, if you like MLB content, please subscribe, leave a like, comment what you guys want to see next. Anyways, let's go talk about the Cincinnati Reds. When you talk about the NLC Central, which is where the Cincinnati Reds are, right? I think you look and think about it the last few years, it's either the Brewers or Cubs. They're fighting 1, they're fighting 2. It's 1-2, 1-2, 1-2. You don't really talk about the rest of the teams. Maybe the Cardinals might be lucky and get up there at one point, but that was like years ago, right? But the Cincinnati Reds, if you look at it, they placed 3rd place last year. At one point, they looked really good. I mean, they went out there, they traded for Brian Hayes, which worked out because they did need him for the wild card and they have him for the future of the Reds, but not a team that a lot of people talked about in the preseason, right? But when you talk about the whole division in general, I think this division is going to be fantastic and really competitive when it comes to it. I mean, you look at the Milwaukee Brewers. The Milwaukee Brewers might have traded away Freddie Peralta, but they have a lot of young prospects when it comes to that. You got Mizorowski. Not saying he's the next ace, but he did show some great glimpses. If he could fix a few of the issues that he had last year, I think he'd be absolutely fantastic. And then you just look at the outfield. I mean, Jackson Chiro, Sal Frelick. Garrett Mitchell's coming back from his injury. Absolutely fantastic. You look at the infield. Caleb Durbin, first year in the major leagues, did pretty good when it comes to that. So, and Andrew Vaughn, acquired from the White Sox. He just needed a little trade to start the motor up. So, Brewers look good, right? Then you move over to the Cubs. Alex Bregman, a new acquisition, right? PCA had a fantastic year last year. And then you got Cade Horton. You got a great pitching staff. So, those two are going to be competitive. The Pirates recently acquired a few free agents. They also have Paul Skeens. Paul Skeens is great, man. And then you got the Reds, which is what we're going to talk about. I'm going to leave the Cardinals to the side because, the Cardinals, they're currently rebuilding, man. We'll talk about them in like a year or two. They'll be back up there when we talk about them. But when you talk about the Cincinnati Reds, I think when it comes to this organization, I feel like a lot of people either sleep on them or just don't give them the flowers of day. I think the Reds deserve their flowers when it comes to building a great team around that has, for some odd reason, not been talked about. I think they have a fantastic young pitching rotation. They have a great outfield, a great infield, but for some odd reason nobody's talked about it, and that's why I'm here to talk about it today, because I can't go like another day without people not talking about the Cincinnati Reds. You want to talk about the rotation? I mean, it's literally a young, fantastic rotation, like absolutely great. Let's talk about their ace. I think when it comes to the ace, I think you could either say Hunter Green or Andrew Abbott. I don't blame you for saying either or. I think they're both fantastic. You look at Hunter Green. Let's begin with him, right? Hunter Green looked absolutely fantastic when you talk about his 2025 season. He played a less few games than the year before, but he looked great. And 2024 was a fantastic year for him, but I think people forget that he's only 25. He's just going to continue to grow. His ERA is a 2.76. His whip is a .938. If he could continue to have longer innings, this dude is just going to be dominant for the next decade, right? And then when you move on to Andrew Abbott, Abbott had 5.6 WAR. By the way, he's only 27 as well. His ERA is up 2.87, and his whip was a 1.148. So once again, another young person that's great at pitching. Rotation, you think we're done there? Absolutely not. Then we move on to Nick Lodolo, right? Nick Lodolo is not as young. He's turning 28 this season, but still fantastic. He still has way too many years ahead of him. He had a 4.9 WAR with an ERA of 3.33, and a whip of 1.07, so he'd be like the third or fourth starter. And then you move over to Chase Burns, which is one of their young prospects coming out. Was he great last year? No. He struggled a little bit when it comes to it, but it's a very small sample size. It's not even fair to even judge him. He had a few great glimpses when you look at it, but I think it's very exciting to see what's going to happen with Chase Burns when it comes to his development. He's more projected to be in the starting rotation, but I guess we'll wait and see what happens there. Then you got Brady Singer. Brady Singer is not like elite. He's not good. He's there. He's all right. He's all right. I think he could get you a few innings, which is what matters. I think you could get a few innings from Brady Singer, and then you could possibly go into the relief. So I think it's an exciting rotation when you look into it. And we're talking about rotation, right? Young rotation, but we still haven't even touched the batters. The batters are absolutely fantastic. And what made me start this video is, wow, they went out there, they signed Eugenio Suarez, which is a great acquisition for them, which is going to be their future DH after letting go of Gavin Lux, because Gavin Lux was their DH for last year. But when you look at the team overall, I think it's fantastic. It's young. Let's start with one of the biggest stars when you look into the team, on Elly De La Cruz. Elly De La Cruz has just been huge. I feel like a lot of people talk about him with just how fast he throws the ball. He's always in a highlight reel when it comes to defense, but he does make quite a few mistakes when you look into it. I think if Elly De La Cruz fixes his mistakes and could get a little bit more hot at the bat, I think this player is going to be absolutely crazy when it comes to, he's only 24. He's still learning. So, he has so much career ahead of him when you look into it. So it's very exciting to see what comes from Elly De La Cruz. And then you got Noelvi Marte. Noelvi Marte, only 24. He struggled in 2024, had a great season in 2025. Very exciting there. You look at Eugenio Suarez, recently acquired. The reason why I started making this video, because I think it was a fantastic signing when you look into it. Gavin Lux was once the DH for the Reds. They let him go, traded him away, right? And then they signed Eugenio Suarez, who was a free agent, for a 1-year deal. Fantastic signing. I think this is what the Reds needed. They needed that one power bat that's going to give them home runs, and I think that's just what they needed, right? And then you got Matt McLain. Didn't have a great season last year. I don't think it's fair to judge. He had a pretty bad injury when it comes to 2024. He was missing a few games in 2025. I think that he bounces back. He's still very young when you look into it. Only 26, right? You look at Key Brian Hayes. Not the greatest at bat. If he could improve that at bat, I think this dude is crazy good, right? He's one of the best defenders in the team. He's a Golden Glover. He was a great acquisition when you look into it, getting them traded from the Pirates last season before the deadline. I think when you look back into the trade, great trade. I think the Reds did great. That's going back to what I was saying, that the Reds were trying to remain competitive last year. Overall, I think this was just a great trade, no matter if you were trying to remain competitive or not. They were looking out for the team next year, and I think that's exactly what you needed. Then you got Sal Stewart, great prospect for the Reds, one of the top prospects coming into he's projected to possibly start first base. I think that would be absolutely fantastic when you look into it. So overall, the Cincinnati Reds have a bunch of young prospects, a bunch of young players. This whole team is young. When you look into the pitches, when you look into the batters, right? The one criticism that I would say maybe the Reds need to add, they need to add a better relief pitcher. But overall, I think this team is solid. I think this team could make it far. And I don't think that the Reds get their flowers that they deserve. I think the Reds are really good when you look into it, when you look into their team. Not a lot of people are talking about it. They've had a little bit of a quiet season before Tyler Stevenson. But overall, I think they didn't really need to do much. They could go out there, sign a little bit more free agents, but overall, I think the Reds built a great team and didn't need to go out there and spend all this money. But I mean, because the Reds are not really known to go out there and spend this money. I feel like the Reds are doing a little bit more of what the Brewers are doing, where they take these prospects, they develop it, they have a young team, and they just continue to do it and do it and do it. And hey, it's working for the Brewers, it's working for the Reds. So, and honestly, you can't really blame them when it looks like they didn't have to go out there and sign a free agent. I don't know, guys. That's all I got for you guys today. What do you guys think? Please let me know in the comments below. Anyways, guys, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Let me know what you guys want to see next. Bye.